No. If you watch the service directive, he even stated it. They're still fixing the weapons. They're going through a big push right now. Like I said, I get nervous whenever they start going through big pushes through weapons because they decimated the. Like I like the way the the triplane shots were. I like that it shot like 8 or 6. Like I like that it shot a lot of stuff. It was its range that was too much. Its range was obscene. Its range was 10.8 or 11 point. It was high for a shotgun. It had a range that felt like it was a sniping shotgun. It didn't make any sense. All they had to do was drop the range down to 7.2. That was it. That it didn't need to lose all the spread. It didn't need to. The other thing was widen the cone of shot. The cone tightens when you're aiming. If you don't aim, it's just a wider cone. Or just make the cone wider in general. That would have been it. If you thought 8 was too much, drop it down to 6. Like there was a bunch of things they could have done. They would have kept the identity of the weapon. It would still be the triplane. It just wouldn't be the OP killing weapon that it was before. The triplane's biggest problem was its cone is so tight that even when you shot at 8 meters or 10 meters, 6 of your shots of the 8 were hitting anyway. 6 were hitting anyway at all times. And if you're point blank, 8 were hitting. That's why it was blowing things away. Now, if you shorten its range and you drop it down from 8 to 6, and now only 4 of the 6 are hitting, it becomes less damaging. It becomes more, if you don't use skill or you don't get up close to people, you don't hit them as hard. It was a simple fix. Dropping it down to 3, reducing its range, upping its damage, I don't know. I don't see how that made it better. It went from OP to okay, but it lost its identity. It doesn't look like the gun that was shown in that Twitter feed with all those shots in that ridiculous range. It doesn't look like it anymore. It doesn't even feel like it. It's just a heavy shotgun. A plain vanilla heavy shotgun. That's the thing, like, I didn't understand some of that. Not the worst. Yeah, you could have. It worked with shotguns. Like it was really cool with the minigun because it gave you the range that the minigun didn't have. In a heavy shotgun. That was insane. Literally, all the train plane did, all they did with the triplane was they nerfed the Art Mandrel and then created a gun that had all of the problems the Art Mandrel had and increased its range. That's literally what they did with the triplane. The original Art Mandrel was a gun as sick as the triplane was. Its range was like 7.6 or 7.4. And it used to be devastating. So they shortened the range, they decreased the damage, and the Art Mandrel was still a nightmare. It just was a more skill-based shotgun compared to the triplane. The triplane played like the old Art Mandrel where you could shoot it from anywhere, you could kill anything. That's how the Art Mandrel worked at first. And then they made a gun that doubled down on all of its mistakes. So it's like the funny thing, before they did their big balance push, most of the game was balanced. 7 to 8 weapons max needed either nerfs or buffs. That was it. Everything else played alright. Everything else had a way to be played that they made sense. Everything. All you could have done with the Lumia Arrival was shorten the range. But the thing I do like that they did with every mortar, no mortar has one shot. Because the Lumia Arrival one shot used to be a nightmare. But there was a workaround for it. Because if you killed 4 people and you were using the bracer of dedication with that thing, you had a second shot. So there was a workaround for it. But I do like, I have to say, the one thing I do like is all charge on pickup, specifically for all of these guns now, the minimum is 100. You get 1 charge if you pick up like a big one. No more getting a quarter or a half a charge. I think that was great. And the fact that most guns gained an extra shot was also pretty cool. The Arrival went from 2 to 3. This went from 3 to 2. This stayed at 3. Or if it was at 2, it went up to 3. This one was always at 3. And then what they did is they reduced it from 150, and then in the infusion track, I think you can gain 15% back. Yeah, you can gain 15% back in the infusion track. But what used to make the Avalanche the superior one was its range, and if you killed anything and you were using the bracer of dedication, you got ammo back. You killed 2 things, you got full ammo back. Like, it was sick. That used to be one of my favorite weapons. It was my favorite thing after the Arrival. But Lumia Arrival and Arrival plays the same for me. I like the Lumia more damage. And it's like the old Arrival. And it's great for Primal Hunter. Like, I will not play this for Primal Hunter anymore. So. Yeah, but they also added, they gave it an extra 2 shots. The Orc Mandrill used to be 5 times 2, so it used to shot your 10. Now it's 14 times, it's 7 times 2, which is 14. So they actually buffed it by giving it extra bullets. They took away like 5 from the triplane and gave 2 to the Orc Mandrill. So I don't know. I played them the same. Like I said, it's just not as devastatingly powerful as it used to be. But this gun's still decent. It still works. It still works just fine in a build. And I believe, yeah, it still shoots faster than the Orc Mandrill. Well, you just watched me use it, decimating people. The reason is, I'm used to it being that small because I used to play the Arrival all the time. So to me, it's just fine. It used to be kind of ridiculous. Detonation radius just dropped from 6.5 to 5.3, which is still huge. That's still big. It lost 1.2 meters. That's 4.8. That's still big. It used to be sick. It didn't make any sense. Its detonation radius literally gave it almost a range of 20 something. It used to have a range of 16.5 with a detonation radius of almost, 6. So it had an effective range of 21 meters. So it was annoying. Because like I said, back in the day, man, people would just put nullum guards, amplify on that thing, and then they would just basically, because of our health bars were so trashy, they would just basically lob the things and you couldn't even see them, and they would just kill you instantaneously. I remember when it started getting nerfed. So it dropped down to around 3 something was the last one I remember seeing. This one's still strong. It's just not as strong. Yeah, this used to be stronger also. It used to be around 200 and something. But they gave you an extra shot, which doubled the amount of damage you can do. So, if you look at it, it's still 4K. It's just over 2 shots. It's not 4K in 1 shot, it's 4K in 2 shots. But you still have the 4K. So it's not horrible. And the pickup on charge used to be 65. Now it's 100. So that makes it really neat to me. But like I said, it was a big old big boom that people used to use toxically, and it used to be super annoying because it used to kill me indirectly. I would be almost outside of its circle. If I was within the circle of it, and I had like a 3,000 bar, I still died. So it wasn't really doing only the 4,000 in the middle. It was doing the 4,000 everywhere, or damn near everywhere. I hit things. I drop 2 bombs on people all the time, and it's good that you can hold it off because sometimes, what if you drop two back to back, right? And the person moved, and you basically wasted them both. The slowness in that reactivation delay works. Their mistake is it's the arc. Give them a lot of range. Just keep their shots up in the air a little longer. Make their traveling rate slower. Like, out of all of the weapons that should have a slow travel rate, it would be the mortars. Not the rocket launchers, the mortars. I miss the old Heretic. The speed on that thing was freaking awesome. I didn't think the Heretic needed to be slowed down. I thought what the Heretic needed was they needed a reactivation delay in between it, which they added because it used to be point 0.4 or point 0.5. It used to be stupid fast. By slowing it down, that's really its biggest thing. You didn't need to nerf its damage, but they gave you an extra charge, so yeah, you can bring the damage down a little bit, so it's all right. But yeah, so the Eventide plays pretty well. I love the new Overseer. Um, that Eventide is a lot funner than 15.1's Eventide. It's a lot funner. The fact that you actually have to do something, the fact that the score can get stalled. Like, we were stuck for a few seconds there until I went and got the sensor. And you got it requires a little bit, again, more map awareness. The only difference is, like I said, is we don't really control the final harvest like we used to, which was kind of fun. ZK was explaining it. It's really just about controlling the speed of the game. Um, Eventide matches could go for 36 minutes, and they could be as short as 14. I got them shorter than that. I've gotten them under 10. Um, and they can go as high as 36. So that's pretty long. Yeah, that's exactly the idea. It would be a delayed attack, like you see a person comes running at you, you shoot it directly above you, and then it's in the air for almost a second, and then they come running in, and then boom, dead. And they didn't see you when you fired it. They just came running. You anticipated that they were coming at you. That would be freaking awesome. To me, that would be kind of cool. To me, leave me the range. Just make it take longer to get there. So what would happen is I could flick attacks, run away, and if the person's in the middle of attacking something and they're standing their ground, boom, they die, and I'm about, like, what do you call it, 20 meters from where I was, and then they die. That'd be kind of cool. Like, stuff like that would be fun. It's there are places where they could use physics and logic and the way things work in the real world to add variety and coolness to the weapons that they're throwing away, and that I find very, very strange. Mortars should have a really long range and a slow travel time. It's just logical. It just is. But forget audio cue. My biggest issue used to be is, let's say you did realize the person had it, and then you went moving out of the way. The radius was so huge that the damage, even at the very edges of it, literally used to wipe out health bars. Like, supposedly base was 4,000, but that means most of the people who were hitting them were dropping you with 5,000. And if you were at the edge of it, and let's say the edge only did 3,600, you still died. Like, I mean, it was super annoying. It was more of a toxic weapon than just fun. It was super annoying. Nah, that would be kind of cool though. If you had something like that, like it's there's an orbiting satellite, and then the way the heavy ammo works is you're not really getting ammo, you're getting you're getting a, pointers or radar indicators. So what would happen is you shoot it, it plants it to the ground, and it's like tick 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 tick, boom. Blast radius of like 15, like, and it drops on something, it does like 10,000. It's just that it's a super slow attack. But yeah, that'd be hella fun. Yeah, it wasn't just its splash radius, its range was ridiculous too. Between its splash radius and its range, it was like one of the longest reaching weapons in the game. It was just dumb. It was longer than the, I believe its range was 15.5, and I believe its radius was 6.5, or a flat 16. It was huge. It had a huge range and it had a huge splash area. That's why, like, I didn't understand why the Lumia Prodigal isn't built just like the Lumia Arrival. One less charge, but more damage per shot. So it literally hits something at like 2,000, but it's only got two shots. Where the the Prodigal itself would be three shots, and it hits at 1,600. Like, it makes the other gun more powerful, but you have to be more precise with it. And then you'd have the other gun, which has more shots, but then they don't hit as hard. And that would make it follow the Lumia principle of the design. It's just weird to me. Like, there's a lot of things that they state and they talk about, and you read it and you're like, shouldn't it work like this though? And they don't. So it's always surprising to me. That's attack potency. Power damage. That Primal Stalker has to go. It's trash. Primal Stalker is like the worst. Specifically for Isia. When am I going to be in bushes with Isia? It's really funny. You're not in the bush with almost any primal. I don't even think any primal spends time in the bush. All primals spend time in open spaces. There is no primal that's running through bushes. I've only used Torden that way because with Primal Stalker, he gets a boost. Sometimes I needed to get a little faster. But there is no other primal that I can see that I'm going to run through a bush. So Primal Stalker to me is a waste. Is another one of those wasted things. Yeah, man. Full Primal Hunter is hot. That's a great build.